Hello, my lovely. So today we have a beginner's yoga flow for you. So it's for anyone who's kind of new to yoga, but also anyone who wants to, check back in with the fundamentals, with the foundations of their practice. We're taking it a little bit slower than usual and just really focusing on the important elements of poses, and I'm really working on lots of different levels and finding the level that's right for you. I say it's for beginners and it's slower, but there is still quite a good pace to it. So we still do move through things at a decent speed. So it is going to probably get your heart rate up. It is a bit of a cardiovascular workout. We're basically going to move through sun salutations, so sun sal A and sun sal Bs, and these are really fundamental to so many yoga practices, and that's because it stretches your body, it strengthens your body. But as I said, you might find yourself really warmed up. The heart rate will probably increase a little bit. So I guess there's just a couple of points I want to say there. The first is, if at any point you want to have a rest, and please do that. Please have a rest and then join us again whenever you're ready. So I recommend going into child's pose. So that's where you have your knees as wide as the mat, have your sit bones back towards your toes, which are touching each other, and just resting your forehead down on the mat. And have a break there, and then join in again whenever you're feeling up to it. And be proud of yourself for doing that. Yoga is all about balancing effort and ease. You don't want to put in so much effort that you're straining yourself, you're putting your body at risk, you're really wearing yourself out, because that's probably your ego trying, saying, no, go more, go harder. But you also don't want to just cruise through it and not really get many benefits because you're not actually really putting much effort in. So it's about balancing that effort and ease. And the only way you can do that is by really listening into your body. So if you're listening into your body today and it says, all right, I need a bit of a rest here before we jump back in, then amazing. You are doing yoga. So have a break. You don't need any equipment today, specifically for today's practice. However, if you would like to have a cushion or some blocks and you'd like to modify any postures with those, please have them nearby and feel free to do that as you wish. So I hope you enjoy today's practice. Grab that water bottle and I'll see you back here on the mat. Okay, so we're going to begin today on our backs. So gently come down, flatten your back, soles of your feet on the ground. From here, you're just going to lift your right foot up towards the ceiling and take hold behind your thigh. And start breathing here. Now, drawing your toes of your right foot back towards your face so it's in flexion. And just see if on the exhale, each exhale, you can draw that leg in a little bit closer to you, getting a lovely stretch through the hamstring. If you'd like to deepen the stretch at all, you may lay your left leg out along the ground. Lovely. Now on the next exhalation, bring that right foot back down. If your left leg was still with your foot on the floor, just slide that out now too. You're going to take hold of your right leg over the knee, and you're just going to slowly draw it down to the opposite side of your body. Now it doesn't need to touch the floor, that's fine. What you want to focus on is that your right shoulder stays on the mat, so it doesn't lift up. Once it starts lifting, then you've gone too far. So just come back a bit. And then looking towards the right side of your body. Remember to keep breathing here. Calm, long breaths. Beautiful. And then slowly draw that right knee back up. Now bring both knees in and just give yourself a nice little hug here, maybe rocking from side to side. Great, and now let's take that to the other side. So bring your right foot, so it's on the sole, so the sole is on the mat. Left leg draws up towards the ceiling. Left toes coming back towards your face, so your foot is in flexion. And deepening that stretch each exhalation. Remember, there's the option to straighten your right leg out along the mat. And on your next exhalation, bring that left foot back down. If you haven't yet, lengthen your right leg out along the mat, and let's take the twist to the other side. So slowly, with ease, drawing your left knee across the body, ensuring that your left shoulder stays down on the mat. Noticing the sensations in your body and remembering to breathe. Beautiful. Now with your hand, guide that left knee back, and again, draw both knees in. This time you might like to raise your head up to meet your knees. Let's have a nice little hug in the middle here. Rolling into a little ball. Lovely. Then you might like to cross your feet over and gradually coming forwards to stand at the top of your mat. We're going to move into our sun salutations now, sun sal A. I'm going to stand here just so you can see me, but you remain at the top of your mat there. Beginning in mountain pose. So here you're really going to press down into the mat to draw up tall. Quads engaged, so you're drawing your kneecaps up. From here, upwards energy in the front body, so lifting everything up, shoulders to ears, and then drawing everything down in your back body. So lifting up at the front, drawing down at the back. That is our mountain pose. So take a few moments here. Breathing deeply. Beautiful. And let's begin with sun sal A. So bend your knees, lift your hands up and overhead, having a slight back bend here if it's comfortable for you. Hands in prayer. Folding from the hips, coming down into a forward fold. Just dangling here for a moment. Focus on bringing your body weight onto your toes a little more, so it's out of your heels. And have your knees bent as much as you need here. Just sitting with this shift in perspective for a moment. It's not often we're hanging upside down like this. And just really relaxing. Beautiful. Now slide your hands up to your shins or your thighs with a long spine, head coming forwards and your hips pulling back into a half forward fold. Inhale here and exhale, coming back down into that forward fold. From here, bend your knees as much as you need for your hands to reach the mat. You're going to step back with one foot and then step back with the other foot into plank. Now, you can lower your knees whenever you need. If you can, just remain here in plank for a moment. And then everyone, let's lower our knees down. From here, you're going to shift your body weight forward, so your shoulders are over your wrists, and you're going to lower your chin and your chest down to the mat, keeping your sit bones up in the air and elbows in nice and tight to your body. Then curl up to Cobra, so have your front body laid down on the mat, pressing your feet in to the mat and just coming up slightly, really using your back muscles. A great way you can test this is just lifting your hands up off the mat. If you can't stay up doing that, then just come down a little bit lower and really focus on using your back muscles to draw you up here. Inhale here. As you exhale, you're going to come back up into downward dog. So you might like to come to all fours and then press back into downward dog. Another option here is to just press up into plank and back into downward dog. Downward dog, you want to keep those knees nice and bent, really focus on pressing away from the mat with all four corners of your hands. So pressing your hips high up in towards the ceiling, from your hands all the way up a lovely straight line. From there, you might like to work on straightening your legs a little or drawing your heels down without making changes to the upper body. However bent your knees are and wherever your heels are is absolutely fine. You're still doing it right. So we have 3 more deep breaths. Beautiful. Now on your next exhale, bend your knees, look forwards towards your hands, and you're going to step your left foot up between your hands. If it doesn't quite make it, that's fine. Just shuffle it up, walk it up however you need. And then you're going to step your right foot to meet it, back down in forward fold. Shifting that body weight forward slightly, knees bent as much as you need here. So you inhale, slides up to your shins or your thighs, flat back, half forward fold, and then lower back down into forward fold. From here, bend your knees even more, sweep your hands up and overhead, hands come back down to prayer at your heart. Take a moment here, feeling that energy flowing through your body. And let's take it to the other side. We'll go a little bit quicker this time. So inhale, bend your knees, sweep your hands up and overhead. Exhale, folding from the hips into forward bend. Inhale, slide your hands up, half forward bend, long spine. Exhale, back down to forward bend. Bend your knees till your hands reach the mat, and then step back with one foot and then the other. Option to lower your knees whenever you need here. Everyone else, feel that little bit of a fire burning, and then lower your knees down. Take your chin and chest to the mat, and then press through and curl up into Cobra. Exhale, coming back into downward facing dog, however you wish. Remember the options you have, and we'll pause here. Taking 5 deep breaths. Lovely. So on your next exhale, bend your knees, look forward towards your hand, step your right foot up between your hands, followed by your left foot in forward fold. Inhale, up into half forward fold, and exhale, back down into forward fold. Bend your knees slightly, lift your hands up, overhead, and then draw them back down to your heart. And coming back into mountain pose. Great stuff. Close your eyes if you're comfortable, or soften your gaze here, and just take a moment again. Noticing what that energy feels like that you're cultivating in your body. Just taking stock for a moment. Then slowly flutter your eyelids open onto Sun Salutation B. So begin by bringing your feet together, big toes touching. It can be a slight gap at your heels. And you're going to swing your hands back and then up. And as you do, you're going to sit back into a chair, really squeezing your thighs in together here and checking that your knees are in alignment with each other. So imagine there's a chair behind you. You're sticking your sit bones right back to sit down on it. Checking that your ribs aren't flaring open, so drawing those ribs in as you do it and drawing your tailbone under a little. One more breath in here. And as you exhale, come down into forward fold. Again, half forward fold wherever your hands are most comfortable here, shins or thighs. And exhale, back down into forward bend. Step back with one foot and then the other into plank. Option to lower your knees. And then you can take your option here. So as we did before, you can lower your knees and do chin and chest to the mat and push through. Or you might like to come forward and ensuring you keep a long straight back the whole way down. You might like to bring your whole body down in one line. Coming up into Cobra. So you can stick with that baby Cobra that we practiced, or you can straighten your arms and come up into full Cobra. If it's in your practice, you might like it to even come into upward facing dog here. As you exhale, coming into downward facing dog. As you exhale again, bend your knees, look forward towards your hands, and you're going to step your left foot up between your hands. And this time, you're going to sweep your hands up and overhead into a high lunge. Focusing on your balance here. If you need at any time, you can lower that back knee. On your next exhale, float your hands down either side of your foot and then step your foot back into plank. Again, lower your knees wherever you need and take your option to come down through Chaturanga. Chin and chest on the mat, coming down all at once, however you wish. And then coming up into baby Cobra, Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, coming back into downward facing dog, and let's stay here for a few breaths. Beautiful. Now bend your knees, look forwards again, and this time stepping your right foot up between your hands, swooping your hands up and overhead, and again coming up into high lunge. Just have that back knee bent slightly to help with your alignment. And breathe here. Lowering that back knee down at any point, or using a wall or something if you need it for the balance too. Lots of options available. And whichever one you take, it's all yoga. Exhale, float your hands back down to the mat, stepping back into plank and taking your option here. Exhale, back into downward facing dog. And then bend your knees, looking forwards, and stepping your left foot up between your hands, followed by your right foot this time, coming into forward fold, up into half forward fold, lowering back down into forward fold, and swooping your hands back up, overhead, and then to prayer at your heart. Again, taking a moment here to check in. Let your breathing slow. Feeling that wonderful energy, that cardiovascular fitness building. Getting the strengthening, the stretching, and the cardiovascular benefits. Beautiful. Now flutter your eyelids open and let's take that sun salutation B again. So make sure that your feet again are touching, big toes touching, and heels can be slightly apart. As you inhale, swing your hands back and up and overhead as you sit back into that chair. See if you can sit a little bit lower this time. Arms up as close to your ears as you can get. Ribs drawing in, tailbone tucked under slightly. Breathe, control your breathing. And on your next exhale, moving into a forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees so your hands reach the mat, stepping back with one foot and then the other coming into plank. If you would like to try a full chaturanga now, the option is there. You can continue with on your knees and chin to chest, whichever one you like. Otherwise, shift your body weight forwards and then keeping a straight back the whole time and your elbows in tight, lowering down slowly. Lifting up into baby cobra, cobra or upwards facing dog. And then exhaling back into down dog. Controlling that breath, long, calm breath here. Great, now bend your knees, looking forward, step your right foot up between your hands and swooping your hands up and overhead into a high lunge here. Inhale here. As you exhale, you might like to just twist towards that right side. And on your next exhale, swing that hand down and coming back round to the front. Inhale here and exhale, float your hands back down, stepping back into plank. Take your option for chaturanga, knees to the mat or full chaturanga here. Cobra or upward dog and down dog. Pressing your hands into that mat to lift your hips high up towards the ceiling. Beautiful stuff. Now bend your knees, looking forward, step your left foot up between your hands and coming up into a high lunge. Again, here you might like to incorporate a twist, so opening up to the left side. And on your next exhale, sweep your hand down and back up to the center. Inhale here. And exhale to float your hands back down. Stepping back into your plank. You can either move straight to down dog if you like, or take your chaturanga here. And we'll all come and meet in down dog. Great. Now bend your knees, looking forward. Step your left foot forward, followed by your right foot into forward bend. Coming up into half forward bend, nearly forgot that. Down into forward bend, and then up, hands up and overhead. Slight back bend here, and then drawing all of that energy down to your heart. Close your eyes and breathe. And be so proud of yourself. That was pretty tough. You definitely will have got a workout this morning, and you can see why some salutations are so warming. Great. Now slowly open your eyes. Again, bend your knees, lift your hands up and overhead. See if you can get a little bit more of a back bend now. Pushing your hips forward and then lowering back into forward fold. And this time, we're just going to hang here for a moment. So bend your knees if you like. The more bent your knees are, the more it will be in your back. Straighter that you are, you'll feel it more in your hamstrings. So take what you need. You might like to take hold of opposite elbow here, or just ragdoll, let your hands hang. And remember to bring that body weight forward slightly so it's more into your toes. It can feel really nice to rock from side to side here. Or you might like stillness today, and that's absolutely fine. If you are holding your elbows, just switch now so you're holding opposite elbow. And then release. You're going to just cross your ankles over, so one foot's in front of the other, and then just slowly come down to sit, and then roll down so you're laying on your back again. We're going to do reclined pigeon now. So take your left leg and bring it so your left ankle is over your right thigh. Draw your right leg in, and again take hold of behind your thigh. Both of your feet, flex them, so draw your toes back so both feet are flexed. You might like to pretend you're pressing into a wall with that right foot, which can really help activate that leg. And then breathe here. Feeling a beautiful stretch in your left hip, your left glute. Again, on the exhale, you might like to see if you can draw that right leg in a little bit more. And help increase that stretch by breathing into the left hip. That basically means send your awareness there, and as you inhale, just imagine the breath going there. Beautiful. Now release really slowly and with control. Bring that right leg down, and we're just going to swap it over. So then the left leg comes down, the right leg comes, so your right ankle's over your left thigh, and then draw the left leg up towards you. Flex both feet, so draw the toes of both feet back. And then focus on your breath, focus on the stretch. Now gently Bring both feet back down to the mat, soles of the feet on the mat. We're just going to finish off with a couple of bridge poses. So just check that your feet are in line with your sit bones and as close to your sit bones as you can get them. Just imagine there's a ball, little squishy ball between your knees, and that you are wanting to squish it in. So you don't want them to be touching because you're imagining there's a ball there, but just energetically making sure they stay inwards towards each other so they don't come out. Inhale here, and as you exhale, beginning with your pelvis, tucking that and then slowly rolling up, bringing your hips up towards the ceiling, checking that your your ribs aren't flaring out, so drawing them in. If they are, you might need to come down a little bit lower. And as you exhale, beginning from the top of your spine, bit by bit, vertebra by vertebra, rolling that back down and finishing back with your pelvis. Okay, let's do that again now. So as you inhale, drawing up by tilting your pelvis first, and then spine comes to follow, checking your ribs aren't flaring. You might like to walk your arms underneath you a little bit. You might like to even interlace your hands and bring your chest towards your chin and looking straight up at the ceiling, checking that those knees aren't coming out, so you're squeezing that pretend ball. Breathing here. And on your next exhalation, slowly, as slow as you can possibly go, release those hands if they're under the body, and then lowering down, vertebra by vertebra, slowly, 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 isolating each section of your spine. And then lengthening your legs out along the mat. It's time for Savasana. So just have your legs out straight, your feet just relaxed, folding out. Arms out long next to your body, palms facing up. If you have any issues with your lower back, you can pop some pillows or cushions or blocks under your knees. If you feel like there's anything you need to do to roll anything out first, please feel free to do that. We want you to be comfortable in Savasana. Once you've arrived, start to check in. How is your body feeling after that? You've done an incredible job. Now just pay attention and reap the rewards of that wonderful practice. Please stay here for as long as you need. But when you do come out, just start by making small movements. Perhaps wriggle your fingers and your toes. And then when you're ready, roll to one side. Stay there for a little bit. And then slowly push up. Finishing off your practice with mindfulness and grace. Thank you so much for flowing with me today, and I really look forward to seeing you on the mat again soon.